Imagine writing one of the best new gen manga, a real game changer, and then single-handedly making sure that no one ever fucking wanna touch it again. That's not just a plot twist, that's a sabotage speedrun any fucking percent. Today we're talking about the manga, Act Age. A manga that had everything. A unique premise, check. Emotional gut punches, fucking yup. A protagonist that made you sit up and whisper, damn. And just when it was about to make a jump from the cult favorite to a mainstream phenomenon, fucking gone. Not just with a sizzle, not with a sad farewell post on Twitter, but in a single moment of pure, what the actual fuck happened here? A scandal so bad it made anime Twitter shut up for at least 5 minutes. You know how hard that is? That place never fucking sleeps. So how did it happen? How do you go from carrying the future of Shonen Jump on your back to getting your name scrubbed off the face of the manga industry harder than an etsy artist caught tracing from Pixar? What made Act Age so good? And what made the author burn and crash with over 1,000 cancellation tweets every fucking minute? This is what happens when an author decides to destroy their own work. At a glance, Act 8 sounds like a weird pitch. A girl who's insanely good at acting because she has unhealed trauma? Somehow it kind of works. Our protagonist, Kei Yonagi, wasn't just another lousy kid trying to be the best ninja. She was raw, real, a struggling teen raising her siblings alone, channeling her personal pain into performances so powerful they messed you up by just reading them. No screaming power-ups, no training montages with old men yelling at you about inner strength, just broken girl stepping into roles so deep she forgot who she was. Every arc feels like a psychological deep dive, not just into her mind, but into yours as well. And it looked incredible, absolutely fantastic. Shiro Usazaki's art was crisp, cinematic, emotion oozed from every single stroke on every single panel, even quiet moments had weight. Not every manga can make you feel something just by how a character's eyes are drawn, but this one definitely did. And the acting setting, genius. It turned stage performances into an actual battle, not with fists, but with emotions. Auditions felt like boss fights. Each scene, each role, each challenge pulled Yonagi deeper into her trauma and pulled us with her. And that just made everything feel more real. And it built stakes, not with explosions, but with pressure. Would Yonagi hold it together or completely lose herself? Would she make it to the top or break trying like many did before her? Within a year, it was blowing up, ranking high in reader polls, anime rumors started bubbling, fans were already fan casting the voice actors. It was inevitable at the time. It was a breath of fresh air in the Jump lineup, something quieter, more grounded. If Demon Slayer was about cutting demons in half, Act Age was about cutting your soul open and putting it upon stage. It wasn't just popular, it was respected. This wasn't just another manga. And then just when the rocket ship was about to take off, well, it came crashing down. You could feel it in the air. The buzz around Act Age wasn't just hype, it was a prophecy. This wasn't just another niche manga quietly stacking chapters. This was the next Shonen Jump royalty in the making. By the mid-2020s, Act 8 had fully hit its stride. Every arc upped the emotional ante. Every new character added depth. And behind all of it, readers started saying the forbidden words, yo man, this might get an anime, and this might be a good one actually. Every week release sparked shred, fan theories, edits, cosplays, TikToks, and the works. Yonagi was becoming a mascot for a new kind of shonen. Psychological, artistic, grounded in reality, but hitting just as hard as the classics we know. But unlike most rising series, Act 8 had a wild thing going for it. It appealed to both hardcore weebs and for people who normally would tap out after Naruto's 4th training arc in this season. It was pulling in new fans, people who didn't even like manga but found themselves glued to Yonagi's unraveling road. It was elegant, chaos, painful, and beautiful all at the same time. You read it and thought, if this gets an anime with good voice acting and good direction for that matter, this is going to be an instant classic. Act 8 wasn't just climbing the charts, it was sneaking into people's hearts and setting up camp. The audience saw themselves in Yonagi, in her struggles, in her collapse. It was deeply personal. The kind of manga you recommend to friends with the warning of, this one just hits different. And the team behind it? Shiro Usazaki was getting major props. The visuals were stunning, the emotional control, insane. And then Tatsuya Matsuki, the writer, well, let's just say he took that rocket ship that were Act 8, lit a match, and crashed it headfirst into Mount Fuji. August 2020. Tatsuya Matsuki, co-creator and writer of Act 8, was arrested in Tokyo. The charge? Molesting 2 junior high school girls. Caught on camera, caught red-handed. No rumors, no confusion, no cancel culture, just Facts confirmed by the Japanese authorities at the time. Fans weren't just shocked, they were nuked. This wasn't just a bad take or got into Twitter beef type of scandal. This was like, you're done, your show is not getting anywhere territory. Within days, Act 8 was axed. Pulled from printing, pulled from the website, no send them, no goodbye, just erased from existence. Even collected volumes stopped being produced, which is I'm very happy I still have these. And as brutal as it was, Finger was the right call. You don't let a man like that keep profiting from a platform read by millions of teens. But it still hurt, not because Matsuki deserved anything, but because of what he took down with him. Shiro Usazaki, the illustrator, had nothing to do with any of it. She was just the artist, and she was fucking killing it, man. Incredible visuals on deadline every single week, and now, well, her work, her momentum, her future in Jump, just all ripped away because of someone else's disgusting behavior and choices in life. She released a statement, professional, poised. She stood with the victims, showed zero tolerance, and yet she lost the masterpiece. The manga she put her years into just became collateral damage. And the fans, well, we were left grieving. Not for Matsuki, fuck him, not for him at all, but for the story, for Yonagi, for what this manga could have become. I couldn't even reread it without feeling sick to my stomach. Every single sentence written down, now twisted, because of the guy who wrote it. It's the kind of betrayal you don't come back from. Matsuki didn't just destroy his career, he torched an entire work of art, an artist's future, and the trust of an entire fan base. And all for what? A moment of depravity. A selfish act. The manga didn't deserve that. The artist didn't deserve that. The victims didn't deserve that. No one did. So what happens to Act 8 now? Short answer, nothing. It's locked in limbo. A masterpiece with a do not resuscitate order stamped right on it. A reboot? Not happening. An anime? Fucking forget it, man. No one wants to touch a franchise that is this radioactive. Because every dollar, every reprint, every adaptation would mean potentially putting money in the pocket of a convicted sex offender. Even if the publisher found a way to cut Matsuki out, the stigma is still too strong. It's the ultimate, can you really separate art from the artist dilemma? The one we have had in music for years. Some fans will say that the work can stand on its own. Others will say that if you support the art, you're also supporting the artist and you're standing behind what they did. There is no easy answer. And in this case, the industry chose to step away entirely. For Shiro Usazaki, it was especially cruel. She did nothing wrong, but her career-defying work is now a black mark on her resume that she can never promote. She moved on to other projects, but Act 8 will always be the masterpiece that she was not allowed to celebrate. As for the fans, we're left with memories, and maybe a few battle volumes sitting on a shelf, like Forbidden Relics. The story is unfinished, the legacy complicated, the potential forever unrealized. Act 8 could have been the next big thing. Instead, it's a cautionary tale. One awful decision can burn down everything. The world moved on, but the ghost of what could have been is still lingering, haunting anyone who ever believed in Yonagi's rise to stardom. So here we are. Act 8 wasn't just a manga. For a lot of us, it was a weekly gut punch, a story that made us believe in second chances, which is pretty ironic. And the idea that pain could be turned into something so beautiful. And then, because of one real life moment, it all got ripped away. It's brutal, it's unfair, and it hurts in a way that makes it hard to explain to people who don't get stories like this why it hurts and why it hurts this much. Because when an author destroys their own work, it doesn't just end their career. It takes something from every single fan, every creator who looked up to them, and everyone who saw a piece of themselves inside of the story. Is it possible to separate the art from the artist? And should we even try? Honestly, I don't know. But I do know this. Act 8 could have been legendary, but it has now become a cautionary tale of why sometimes working alone is okay. If you got any thoughts about this subject, I would love to hear them in the comments down below. Have you revisited Act 8 after the news got broken? I think it's important that we keep this conversation going, because sometimes the hardest stories are the one that needs the most talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching.